Hi, Karen. Oh, we missed you yesterday at our program managers meeting. Lots of love to you. Laura did an amazing job. And for everybody who's watching, Laura Bonafide Odom is one of our board members. And I'll say a little bit more about our program managers meeting, but I want to say hello also to Laura, who's one of our volunteers. Laura, I'd love to see your face if you're able to share. Ah, hi. Yay. It's been so long. I hope you're doing well, and same with Chloe. We love your daughter. I just got your email too and excited to have you join us again. She says, we are, thank you. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. I think I'll just get started to stay on time and I'll add people as they come in, but I love this little small group that we have going, makes it really personal. Please feel free to use the chat as much as possible, or you can unmute yourself at the end as well. I have a couple quick announcements before we get started. Just for those of you who haven't joined in a while, and for those of you at home who are new, welcome to our Lunch and Learns. This was something during the pandemic that was actually the idea from Todd Hoff, our chairman of the board, to do these Lunch and Learns on Zoom once a week during the pandemic, to keep our community connected and inspired, and not shying away from the tough conversations and just giving each other a lot of love and support online while we can. And we've been so blessed to been able to have so many guest speakers from all over the country. We have done 73 to date, and today is number 74. So a couple Zoom rules: please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though I love to see all your smiling faces. I say that every time because I really do. And please type all questions, comments into the chat. A quick update from Autism Tree. We have now reached over 672,000 people across all of our social media channels since March 2020. Once the pandemic first hit and schools closed, we were really quick to pivot to help serve our kids and families. And we really focused on social media and doing videos, short videos for our families to keep them engaged and give them ideas on what they could do with their kids at home. And since then, we've really blown up to be a global presence, which has been incredible. People of different countries are following us on all of our social media channels: YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Like I mentioned, we did 73 Lunch and Learns to date, and they're all recorded and they're all on our YouTube channel. We have every special guest just means so. It's so close to my heart, and it's been an incredible journey learning about everyone. We've really focused on educational content as well more recently, but every single special guest has been a very personal, a family member of Autism Tree, and I love to keep it that way and introduce you to a new one today. Since January of 2022, so the beginning of this year, Autism Tree has coordinated 39 family events already, with 27 coming up between now and the rest of the year, but we will have many, many more. We add events to our calendar every single month, and we have 19 different programs going on. We were able to transition all 19 of those to virtual platforms during the pandemic, and now we're bringing them back in person, which I'm so excited about. So we have 4 going on. Just a quick update. Our HPF University of San Diego baseball player mentor program is happening right now, which is in the spring. We also had football in the fall as well. We love our community partnership with the University of San Diego. We've been partnering with them for 14 years now. Also, we have adaptive dance classes going on every single Saturday for ages 5 through 10 and 11 through 18. So that's happening hybridly as well if you want to join from home. We also just recently started our Teen Time program, and with the University of San Diego STEM Outreach Club that they have, which is wonderful. They've been doing science experiments with our kids on a 5-week workshop, and I think we're on week 3 or 4 this month, and that will continue until May. And then we also have our Lego therapy workshop, which happens once a month online. We've been doing it, and we just had our first one in April, just this last Saturday, and it was so much fun to see our families again in person and having our kids practice social communication with their siblings and their parents, and over the topic of Legos, which is so much fun for everyone. So those are our in-person programming going on right now, and we plan to have more in-person programming throughout the year, like our Bridge to the Beach camp will be outside this year, and our National Charity League Girls Mentor program, and our Adaptive Arts program. So lots more going on, and if you're watching this in the future, please reach out and to me. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Rebecca Barron, the Director of Operations at Autism Tree, and I help coordinate all these events. We typically do over 200 events a year at Autism Tree, and they're all volunteer run. So, and one of the amazing things about Autism Tree are those volunteers were submitting videos during the global pandemic. We've had 445 videos now on our YouTube channel. We have 195 subscribers, which I'm very proud of. And we've posted 384 of those videos were created by volunteers and sent to our team. And we've posted that many since March 12th of just 2 years ago, which is just incredible. So I can't thank everyone enough for that, our amazing volunteers. We have a new community partnership alert. I wanted to do a special thank you to Cal Able, our new community partnership. We're going to do a big announcement on our e-news that's going out on April 15th. But they are sponsoring our Lunch and Learns this year. So we'll be able to learn a lot more about them. Cal Able is a savings and investment program that's offered by the state of California to people with disabilities that begin before the age of 26. So keep an eye out for our upcoming April 15th newsletter with more information on Cal Able and how you can learn about opening a Cal Able account and a little bit more of the details. They generously provided this little 5-minute video, but for the sake of time, I'll include this in our recap email that will go out after the Lunch and Learned to those who have attended. We'll post it on our social media as well, so you can check out their video when time, which has a little bit more info on it. And then also they have an upcoming webinar on April 20th, where you can learn more as well from 2 to 4. So if you want to learn more, I'll include this in the recap email as well. And a quick disclosure from them. All right, so without further ado, I want to introduce one of our core team leaders and an autism self-advocate, Jeff Snyder, who is going to introduce our special guest speaker today. And I have a little bit of something to say before Jeff. I want to introduce you, Jeff, a little bit. So for everyone who doesn't know Jeff already, you definitely should and look him up. Jeff has been a wonderful light and leader and a dedicated volunteer to Autism Tree. We've known Jeff since 2019, and he was a Living Autistically panelist at our Global Neuroscience Conference that we host every year. And the Neuroscience Conference typically has over 400 attendees in person at the Sanford Consortium for Regenerative Medicine, and it's focused on bringing the neuroscience community and connecting them with our families and children impacted by autism, and creating a heart connection between those researchers who are doing cutting-edge autism research with our children and families. And a lot of our parents get to meet the researchers, and they give feedback to the researchers and the studies. Another amazing part of our conference is our Living Autistically panel, like I mentioned, where we have adults speak about their experience being on the spectrum. We've also had younger kids on our Living Autistically panel. And in 2019, Jeff did an incredible job as a Living Autistically panelist. And then naturally, Jeff has attended almost every single one of our lunch and learns. And I can definitely personally say that we've seen Jeff grow and blossom throughout this pandemic. And whenever it felt like the world was on hold, Jeff was killing it. He was like just doing amazing things with his new blog, which, Jeff, I'd love for you to share a little bit about. And then he reached out to his network, which he has an amazing network. And that's how we got our special guest speaker today. So Jeff, thank you for being here. And thanks for introducing our special guest speaker.
My pleasure, Rebecca. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jeff Snyder. I am, again, one of the core team leaders for the Autism Tree Project Foundation. And I am from Massachusetts. I'm from Seekonk, Massachusetts, which is about 10 minutes from Providence, Rhode Island. And and a little bit about my background. I was first diagnosed with autism at 21 months old in December of 1990. And then I was nonverbal until I was about 4 years old. And then I was featured on Nick News in 1998 when they were doing a segment on a story on autism, and I was featured. And that's how I first learned of my diagnosis. And then upon my graduation from Seekonk High School in 2007, I became the first student on the autism spectrum to have completed pre-K through grade 12 without coming from other towns or school districts. And then in 2015, I moved into my own apartment, which I've been living here for about 7 years. And then in May of 2021, which will be 1 year next month, I founded Going the Distance, which is my hub for my self-advocacy and public speaking services. I do speaking engagements for the neurodiverse community, for educators, which includes parents, teachers, principals, school personnel, and then also for employers. I'm very passionate about helping spread the message about being getting a job and all that. So all that information is available on my website, Going the Distance. And then also I contributed to a book before I forget. I contributed to a book called This is Autism by Jessica Leitweiss and Aidan Allman Cooper that is available on Amazon.com for $19.97. And if you are interested in getting a copy and having me sign it at a future in-person event, whether it is at HPF or any other in-person event, please let me know and I will be happy to sign you a copy. So now that that's out of the way, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Albert Jersey. Albert is like me. We're both from Massachusetts. He's more on the western part of the state near Worcester. And Albert is someone that that we actually connected with through Facebook and social media. And Albert is someone that is a rising star. He does what we're trying to do in terms of reaching out to the community at large, because a lot of parents really don't know what it's like to be on the spectrum. And of course, and they now more than ever now with the ratio that is now 1 in 44, they're turning to people like myself or Albert for advice. How did you get through the process of growing up on the spectrum? What was it like? What were the challenges? And what inspiration can I can I give you? Can you help give me? So those are some of the things I think a lot of parents and even teachers come. I believe that parents, teachers, and employers should listen to neurodiverse individuals like myself and Albert, because we have a lot to offer, and the more we offer, the more better understanding is out there, and the bridges are connected. So Albert, I'm grateful to call you a colleague and stuff, and take it away.
All right, yeah. My name is Albert. I'm from Central Massachusetts. Well, I'm like Jeff said, I'm from like the Western. I'm like Western away from him. Well, I'm a project coordinator at Charles River Laboratories. It's a contract research firm like that works for big pharma like Moderna, etc. Well, I was actually one of the living like autistically panelists last year as well. Well, I'm starting to be new at this as a self-advocate. I met Jeff through like around Litchfield. Like that's how we like became like colleagues and friends.
Mhm.
And then like this year, like I actually like got an offer from Diane to be like part of a writers club at the HMA Autism Resource Center for Writers Club like very recently.
Wow, that's so exciting news, Albert. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I want to say a little bit about Albert too, and my experience connecting with you after Jeff connected us last year. For those of you who don't know, our Global Neuroscience Conference was the very first time we did an all virtual conference last year in 2021 in November. And we recorded it from University of California Television, which is UCTV. And Albert was so incredible on our Living Autistically panel. And I really encourage all of you to go watch it and find it. I'll include it in the recap email. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can watch it or share it with all of your friends and family. Albert, we had a amazing panel, and Albert just brought so much value to that. And his conversations with Roger Bingham, our moderator, were just wonderful. And I love our Living Autistically panel. And Albert, it was your very first speaking engagement, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like my first speaking engagement. Well, before that, like I did write a newspaper article like for my local town paper before I moved out into my own place. But after that, I was just like, this is my first time public speaking. So like, I would say being as a self-advocate, getting out, like reaching out, like brought out throughout the community, whether it's like in this state or outside, this is like very new to me. Like, I guess a new start since COVID started.
I love it. Well, we're so grateful to have you. And at Autism Tree, we love surrounding all of our autistic adults with love and amplifying your voices, because like Jeff so beautifully said, you deserve to share your story and to be heard. So I want to take this opportunity. That's why we invited you to do a lunch and learn, to get to know you a little bit better and introduce you to all of our families. And our East Coast network is growing every day because of you and Jeff. And I just am so excited and grateful you're here. So I'll go ahead and start. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, if that's okay, so we can get to know you a little bit better.
Sure.
Okay. So you said you were a writer. Do you like writing in your free time?
Of course. Yeah, whenever it's like I had a long day of work or like whenever I had to do some responsibilities, like, well, whenever I get overwhelmed or like I just like jot down like, I don't know, journaling of like how I feel and all that. Like for my feelings or emotions, I just jot them down. Just, I don't know, it's like think of like Dumbledore, for instance. It's like an emotion just in like a jar. It's like that. That's journaling. And then like another part is like some poetry or like creative writing.
Oh, wow. How long have you been doing that for?
I would say about like 3 years now.
Okay. Is that
Like
helped you during the pandemic?
well, I would say it's about 3 or 4 years, like on like an occasional or regular basis, like depending like how life is going.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it's a great tool for everyone to use to keep sane. I love that analogy you made. When were you diagnosed with autism?
I was diagnosed with autism when I was around 3 years old.
Okay.
Well, yeah, my parents knew noticed like around one of my symptoms is like hand flapping, like my verbal delay, like and like the way I just couldn't recognize hand gestures or like nonverbal skills. So like they just brought me in. I think that was like in Georgia before I moved to North Carolina, then moved to here.
Okay, Georgia, then North Carolina, then
Y-
Massachusetts. Wow.
Yeah, from like 3 to 5, like that was, yeah, I've lived in Georgia for the first 3 years, then lived in North Carolina for a year and a half, but came around here like when I was almost 5, basically.
Okay. So that's a lot of moving for a young kiddo. Do you remember anything about that time, or was it too early?
I might remember North Carolina. That's about it.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
I have 2 brothers.
Oh, wow. Are they older or younger?
I'm, uh, you know, I'm like the oldest one.
Okay, that's awesome. Does your family still live in Massachusetts?
Yes. My family used to like live really close to me. Like, well, if it's like in that Sterling house away from me, it's probably 20 minutes away. But right now, my mom like basically lives in that Cape house, but my dad's like back and forth over there,
Okay, where does he go back and forth from?
like his job.
Oh, okay. That's great. Are you so close with your family? Do you see them often?
Oh yeah, like I see him like occasionally, probably like once like every couple of weeks or a few weeks, but sometimes monthly. I don't know. We're like so spread far apart since like me and my brother Dan like lived on our own, and then we got our cave house. We just been sourced. Everyone's spread apart a little bit.
Hmm. But do your brothers live in Massachusetts, or do they move away?
We all live in the same state, but fortunately we have a group chat, so we speak to each other every day.
Oh, I love that. That's really smart. Did you see each other during the pandemic too, or did you just use the group chat or video chat to keep in touch?
Yeah, we saw each other like despite when it first began. Like, yeah, my parents gave me a call just to like see if I was all right in April. They're like, yeah, come visit Albert. I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah, yeah. The craziest part is like that was like the first time I moved in by myself without any roommates. That's when this craziness started. It was like 10 days later, boom.
So
This
you
started.
you moved out for the first time and had your own place, and then
Well,
10 days later the pandemic started?
I moved out before that. I'm just talking about not having any roommates, just me.
Ah, yeah.
I'm just talking about I'm basically all alone now.
How do you feel about that?
I love it.
You love it? That's great. What do you
Yeah,
love
but
about it? The freedom?
yeah, and plus like I don't have to worry about like the kitchen and all that and how loud of like noise I had to make.
Do you like cooking?
I do.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's so great. I love that you're so close with your family. So you've been living independently for almost over 2 years now, right?
I would say 4 or 5.
Oh, 4 or 5. Okay. But but for your on completely on your own for 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay. So did you go to college, Albert?
I did. Worcester State University.
Wonderful. And what did you study in college?
I studied business administration with a concentration in accounting.
Okay. And that's, and when you graduated, is that when you started working for this company that you do now?
That's right.
Okay, great. And I want to have you share your own little news. Albert shared some exciting news for me on the pre-call, but you should tell us a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I just got accepted to go to grad school.
Into a master's program at, where's the university?
Pittsburgh State University.
Yes, that's amazing. For accounting, correct?
Yep, accelerate online accounting. Like online's new to me, but okay, it's gonna be hard, but we'll see what happens.
Is it all going to be online classes?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, that's great. Well, congratulations again. That's a big deal getting into a master's program.
I know it's gonna be hard.
I'm sure you can handle it. Great. Well, what else do you have any like tips? I know you talked a little bit at our neuroscience conference about how you coped during the pandemic. Is there anything that you would like to share, like mental health tips or what you did to keep yourself busy during this time?
Right. Like that's like what I want to say. It's like keep yourself busy if you must. Like just get into healthy habits, like cook, like garden, take a hike, run, like exercise, like play video games if you must, like
Mhm. Yeah,
or like chat, text a friend, like or have like a Zoom call for an hour, like just to keep something off your mind, like
mhm. Yeah.
or even play guitar, like to start a new hobby.
Do you play the guitar now?
I actually like started like about 6 months ago.
Oh, wow. Do you know any songs? Can you like play any full songs yet?
Yeah, I think I can. Like it's Brother John and the Drunken Sailor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my guitar teacher taught me that.
Oh, that's really smart. I love it. Jeff in the comments is saying he wrote fan fiction during the pandemic. Um, a continuation of MLP, Friendship is Magic. What?
My Little Pony.
My Little Pony. Got it. Thanks, Jeff. Do you have any special interests, Albert? Like any, I don't know, sports teams or like other groups that you're a part of? Like,
Well, like I stated before, I'm not sure if this counts. Well, me and Jeff's colleague Ryan, like informed me of like to be part of like HMA Autism Resource Center in like Massachusetts. Like I think that was a couple or a few months ago. And then like my former aide Kathy told me the same thing. So they both reached out to Diane. So I just like became part of that organization too. Like all of a sudden this year, I'm like, okay, like
we're doing this. But tell me more about the autism center that they have. I haven't heard of it. So it's in Massachusetts. And what do they provide?
well, they provide services like it's like some services like the lunch and learn. And then like they have one cooking class and all that. And then we're gonna have a volunteer like an event like where we all get together at a Possock Stadium.
Ooh. Yeah, are you doing more in-person events now? Are you going out and socializing with people?
Yeah, this one like I'm doing like it's gonna be my hybrid like tomorrow. And
Okay.
then yeah, and then this charity event that we're doing is gonna be on the 23rd.
Oh, are you helping plan it?
Um, I'm not sure. I don't know too much info about it, but I'll find out more like on the 16th, I believe.
Okay, cool. Well, I'd love to share that resource for any of our East Coast families. So if you guys want to send me the link to that,
Yeah, I love to.
Okay, great. Have you been working remotely through the pandemic?
Yep, I have, like, ever since like the World Health Organization declared it a public health emergency, we just were sent home.
Mhm. Did you have to, so you were working in person first and then you went virtual?
Yeah, we were working in person first, but then like before that, our boss gave us the option to work from home once a week. We just all had a rotation depending on the day of the week for each of us.
Okay. So you were kind of already familiar with working from home a little bit?
Right. The
Okay.
only difference was we couldn't do every day. I'm like, I wish I could do every day, but then it just happened.
So do you prefer working online now, or do you ever see yourself going back into the office?
Well, in order for me to get more stuff done, like adulting responsibilities done, I think I prefer work from home. It just makes it easier.
Yeah, I see that. I agree. I think a lot of people agree with that.
Well, here's why. It's like the moms, like imagine the moms like with their children, and then like dads, like what I hear is like their lives are much easier right now.
Mhm. Yeah, people can be more flexible with their schedules and have a better work-life balance when they're, um, you know,
Right, exactly. And avoid like 1 hour long commutes. So how much is that wasting? Like 2 hours of the day? Like,
yeah, that's true. And I know transportation for a lot of autistic adults is a big issue. The whole reason why sometimes they can't take jobs that they are definitely qualified for is they have trouble with transportation. So working remotely probably is a really good option for.
yes.
Mhm.
Yes, this is like very like helpful and a pretty big breakthrough. Like it just offers more options for those in the autism community and gives them more of a fighting chance.
Mhm.
Because unfortunately, like in the US, like we don't have like much of a transportation system like Europe or some countries in Asia do.
Yeah, definitely. Have you traveled before to any other?
Um, well, I wouldn't say internationally yet, but that's my bucket list.
What's first on your bucket list?
I would say somewhere like I would really want to go to Thailand. That's one of them, but I would like to start small and probably go like somewhere in like I would say probably like Spain or France.
Mhm. Oh, I love that. Going to Europe definitely is on my bucket list too. You mentioned in the neuroscience conference panel that I want to kind of circle back to like your social friends and how you're reaching out to people like Jeff. And I think it's so amazing that you guys connected online and you know like nearby each other. But I mean, social media has been a saving grace for a lot of us to be able to make new connections. And so I know you were really close. You had a few friends growing up, but also during the school years. You mentioned that you were bullied at school, but there was one person who really helped change your life. And why don't you tell us more about that one person? I want to hear about your relationship with them.
The one person, like, yeah, if it's like referring to elementary school, like, yeah, it was like, I would say like there was like a couple, but it didn't affect me like greatly until like middle school. But it was Kathy Brown, like the one like that helped me introduce to the Autism Resource Center.
Hmm.
Like she sometimes like works with me occasionally when it comes to reaching out to the community. But she's really the one that helped me out, like get out in the world and help me adjust to make sure I can relate to others easily.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you still keep in touch with her?
Oh yeah, like a good amount.
Oh, good. Do you have like a little core group of friends that you talk to online or in person?
Yeah, I have like a couple core groups of friends like in person.
In person. Okay. That's awesome. Well, it's so important, especially now. Um, I love to see that you and Jeff both are so involved in the community. And how old are you, Albert?
I'm 29 right now. I'm gonna be 30 this year.
Awesome. Well, that's, really exciting. You have a lot going for you right now.
I
Getting
know.
to a master's program, part of the Writers Club. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of, challenges that you must have overcome over the years, huh?
Oh my God, you have like no idea. It's like, especially like medical issues, like heck, like there's even a couple more like I had to go through. Like it's like I had a hand issue where I can barely do anything, like kept me from lifting weights and all that and guitar, but I just kept using this wrist bracelet and then like heating hot and cold therapy, like, but I managed to overcome it. But
That's
if
good.
there's like I'm reading this book, like The Obstacle's the Way, like I'm probably gonna read it tonight, but it's like the stoic approach saying like the only way, what's in the way is the way. Like that's one of the quotes.
Oh, so it's kind of like in order to get over it, you have to go through it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like not too, it's like not too much, like not too much, but not too little.
Mhm.
Because if it's too much, like you put your hand on like the stove, like it's too much because you'll burn yourself.
Yeah. What's the name of the book again?
The obstacle is the way.
The Obstacle is the Way. Do you know the author's name?
Let's see. Ryan Holiday, I believe.
Awesome. Have you been reading a lot lately? Or do you like to read during your free time?
Yeah, whenever I have free time, like total free time, like I just read a book just to like ease my mind off.
I love that you read right now, and I'll tell you why. We actually have a book club at Autism Tree, and it's online. And it was actually started by one of our founding family members. His name is Dr. Michael Levy, and he's the chief of pediatric neurosurgery at Rady Children's Hospital here in San Diego. And he has a son with autism and as well as a daughter who's neurotypical. And his daughter, Danielle, has been volunteering with us for a long time. And Danielle started the book club with us during the pandemic. It was actually inspired during one of our lunch and learns in 2020. She came up with the idea after hearing one of our past board members' life stories. And she's like, this reminds me of a book. And then we just created this book club that's been going on. And I don't know if you stayed on and watched our typers panel at the neuroscience conference last year. Did you happen to see that with Otto Lana?
I'm not sure if I was there.
Okay, I'll have to send it to you, but in addition to our Living Autistically panel, for the first time ever, we had a inclusion of typers and non-speaking community panel at our neuroscience conference last year, and it's also recorded, and it featured one of our HPF teens, Otto Lana, and he's a typer, and he has autism and apraxia, and his group of friends as well, Bella and William. They call themselves the Mod Squad, and MOD stands for Manifesting Our Destinies, which I just love. And they are one of the things that really opened up during doing this book club is we had a bunch of typers gravitate towards our book club because it was online and they could chat, and it showed how brilliant they are. They got to share about their perspectives and themes of the book, and they would just like run circles around everybody, which was amazing to show. And so at our conference, we chose the book, what was the book called? Flowers for Algernon. And they did kind of like a book club format for that typers panel, and they were able to reflect on that book. So we do it once a month, and I would love for you to join our book club, Albert.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Sure. How often, does the book club meet?
Typically once a month or once every other month.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I'll include that in the recap email too. But I'll have to send it to you. Jeff, have you been to one of our book clubs before?
I went to one, but I went to one, but didn't really stay that very long. I mean, I'm trying to, do some kind of reading a little bit, and but I mean, it's hard. It can be, it's hard sometimes, but
Mhm. Yeah, it requires discipline to sometimes
yeah, it
make
does.
time to read. It's something that we've really gravitated to over the pandemic, is reading a lot more books. And I think it's so exciting that, Jeff, you were a part of a book that came out, and just everything that I've encountered a lot of people who have, written their stories, and there's a lot of more books about autism coming out.
Mhm.
So before we go, I'd love to hear a little bit more from Albert. Thank you again for your time today. And it's Autism Acceptance Month. And I think everything happens for a reason. And we're here today. It's the first week of Autism Acceptance Month. And we're able to have this platform to give you guys voice, to share your stories. And I think it's such a beautiful thing for us to get to know you. And is there anything during Autism Acceptance Month, any resources or anything else that you guys might be working on together, or in your own little worlds, that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, well, I'm planning, I wrote this writing for my writer's group tomorrow. It's called Masking. It's basically saying how it's more we got to go towards acceptance for who we are. I think it's not all right, autism awareness, we got shifted towards autism acceptance, because I think there's more studies coming out saying how masking can basically hinder us, our ability sometimes, make us exhausted. You know what I mean? Jeff, I think you can understand this.
Yeah, 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 and actually, one of the big things that I'm doing, not just for Autism Acceptance Month, is recently I have been getting attention from the Council for Exceptional Children, and I've actually presented to 3 of their branches in February and March. So I've been getting a lot of attention through them. So I'm connecting more with teachers and principals and and other educators, because they need to understand that that some aspects of school are very difficult for neurodiverse students and special education students. And the 2 areas that I'm that I am zeroing in on are school safety drills and school assemblies. Those are my 2 main hitters.
That's fabulous, Jeff. Are those schools on the East Coast, or are they across the country?
Uh, they are all across. Council for Exceptional Children has has branches all over the country that do conferences. I actually signed up to be a volunteer for them if they ever need me and stuff. And I have another colleague who is a paraprofessional. She lives in Florida, is originally from New Jersey, and we're also trying to share our stories of growing up on IEPs. And that's the other educational aspect that I'm working on, is talking about my story of being on an IEP during my education. So we created a presentation that we're going to try to present virtually sometime in May, and it's something that we're going to be hosting. So stay tuned. We might send you an invite to join.
Yes, please keep us in the loop.
Thank you.
I know Karen just typed in the chat, Albert. Oh, where'd he go? There he is. She said, oh yeah, thank you, Albert. You're so awesome. Blessed to hear about grad school. Congratulations, Albert, again. That's fabulous news. Do you have any parting words before we go that you'd like to share with us?
Well, all I had to say is just never give up, trust your instincts. That's all I have to say.
It's really meaningful advice, and we're so excited to have you a part of our family. Welcome, Albert, to HPF. And we are just like we're supporting Jeff all the way. We want to support you too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you again. This was so fun. I hope to see you at more of our lunch and learns, Albert, if you can make it in the future.
I love to. I'll keep you in tune.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jeff.
Take care, guys.
Bye,
Thanks,
Jeff.
Sarah.
Bye, Albert.